Hello, 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 Dr. Alan Harper, your Secure Vibe Coder. And we are here for another live Secure Vibe Coding session. Let me share my screen here. We are working on an app that we call the User Vibes OS. And the premise of this app is that we collect vibes from our users throughout the user journey lifecycle. So when they hit the landing page, you can see over here, all the way through the cycle of their life on the app, we collect vibes from them, and we make it easy for developers to do that. And we are starting right here with the ideate block, and that allows us to catch feature requests from our users, which is very precious. In fact, that's probably the most important thing you can get from your users. And if you implement those features, then those users will be users for life. And so this is the app that we're building. Hey, if you've joined us, drop me a hello. Tell me you're here and where you're from. And also, you can check me out in the free mentoring in the QR code and also the link below. And inside of my free mentoring, you'll find a secure vibe coding masterclass. I happen to be having a Black Friday sale happening right now, so go in there and check it out. And then let's go ahead and describe the rest of the app. So in this app, hey 3Ds, good to see you. All right, have some cool things to show you. Hey, inside of this app, we have a JavaScript front end, and the developer can install that in 1 to 3 minutes. That's our goal, depending on how they want to configure it. They have a landing page where the developer can become one of our customers and sign up. That's already working. And then once they go into the back end, they have access to a dashboard. And off that dashboard, they can set up their API keys. And we use Convex to keep everything all synced, okay? We have user analytics and all kinds of cool things. In terms of the security of this JavaScript module, we have two types of security, two tiers. The first tier of security uses a public key. All right, so that's pretty much a direct connection from the browser straight to us. And then the second tier is using a secret key to generate a JWT token, a Java Web Token, and then we pass that JWT token in the authorization header to our backend server, and we authenticate that user that way. All right, so there's two ways that the developer can configure the security. We have both of those working. We have a long list of things that we've been working on, and we're down here right now. We're testing and debugging the prototype, particularly with the tier 2. And yesterday, when we wrapped up last night, we had the app working, except for we were trying to get the security page working. And lo and behold, soon as I ended the stream, like literally 30 seconds later, Claude Code finished and the security monitor was working. And so I played with it a little bit after that just to test it, and then I left it. And I'm going to now show you guys how it's working and how to actually test it. And so this is pretty awesome. All right, so again, on the back end of our site, the User Vibes OS, we have a dashboard. Looks like this. Okay, it's pretty snazzy. This is all placeholder data though. We're gonna actually show like, user vibe feedback on this dashboard, be it like request counts and landing page hits and things like that, right? And so that'll all come in here. And when we have something meaningful here, we'll update this pretty easily. Okay, and then we have the API keys page that we've been talking about. And then we have these feature request boards, right? These are Kanban boards where the developer can drop this on their website. Oh, and lo and behold, got an error here. That's strange. That's a good way to start out the actual stream, huh? All right, well, that was working. Let's see what that thing is showing. Maybe it's because, I don't know what that is. All right. But what we do have working, let me go back before I go nosedive into that bug. Don't you love it when you're doing something live and you get a surprise like that? That's why we do this, though. this isn't scripted. All right, so let me go back to the dashboard. Might have had something stop working on the back end. Let's go look at that real quick. Hey, I'm using anti-gravity, guys, and I'm really digging it, but I'm not using the full capability of it because, I'm a power user on Claude Code, and I went through last night the cost. I run about $1,300 of tokens a month, but I get that at the bargain of $200 max. And with the advent of the Opus model dropping in price, that's really going to bring my cost down. And maybe it'll even open up opportunities to use, like, if maybe running Opus through the anti-gravity will be just as inexpensive. So anyway, I'm holding off for that, but I am using the interface, and not so much the agent manager, but the IDE itself. And this is just a VS code fork, right? So if you know one, you know them all. Hey, it looks like some other people joined us. Please drop me a chat and let me know that you're here and where you're from. I appreciate it. And we are building this app called User Vibes OS, and it grabs feedback from the user throughout their user journey. And we are focused on the feature request functionality so that they can actually submit feature requests to us, and we can collect those for the developer and present that to them. All right. So what I was about to show you is, well, first I just want to make sure everything's running down here. Make sure like I didn't stop something. Okay. This is part of the problem. We're having some convex issues. Let me go ahead and just restart that just for good measure because it's been up for a day. Same thing with our server. Just restart those. Okay. Those of you who just had a heart attack, yes, I am showing some keys here. These are just test keys on my local system. We won't deploy with these, trust me. So you can calm down now. We are secure vibe coders. We focus on secure vibe coding on this channel. That's what makes us different. All right, so check this out, guys. We have this new security dashboard, and if it'll be kind to me and actually come up, and you can see here, for example, we have 30 security events, and we're breaking this down into, we have no critical alerts, but as we scroll down here, we can see we have some high alerts, some medium alerts, and so forth. And where did these come from? Okay, so these are JWT validation failed. This is just me banging around with it a little bit, earlier. And then notice you'll see here like rate limit exceeded. Okay. And so forth. All right. So how do we see these alerts then? Let me give you an idea of how we see them. Okay, so we have this test site over here, right? Check this out. If we refresh this test site, all right, then what you'll see is we have, okay, this, Kanban board out, or excuse me, this feature request list out here on this test site. So this will be like one of our customers sets this up, through our widget. So this is our widget that's coming through. This is showing the tier 2. It's authenticated with JWT tokens. All right. And so, for example, if we want to vote on something, we can vote on it. I just took the vote away, and I can add the vote back in, right? And I'm just noticing that count is not changing. We'll have to troubleshoot that. But anyway, what you can see here is that the count, we can vote on it, and we can take our vote away. All right, so that's all working well. And if we come back to our security dashboard, there's no new events in for that. Okay. Now, if by chance we mess this up and we, for example, broke our JWT authentication, let me show you how we would do that, how we would simulate that. I just go up in here into our little test site, which is just a folder within our repo, within our code repository. Just set up a little Next.js site. It only has one page, and it just pulls in this widget. And we had Claude Code set this up for us. And if you come into the environmental variable right here, we have the private key. And if I just take one of those digits out right there, that breaks that JWT authentication. Okay, so now if I come in here and I click on this, okay, that's still working. But if I refresh, it's going to break because it's going to get a new JWT token. And now watch what happens when I click on it. Nothing. Okay, so I just clicked on it twice. Nothing. 3 times. Nothing. Okay, so now what's going on the back end is we come in here and look at immediately we see real-time events coming in. See the time right here, 8 p.m. All right, so you'll see that the unvote functionality was firing JWT validation failed. How cool is that? So just to further test it, we can come in here and try to put a comment in. And if we try to submit a comment, we're going to find out that nothing happens. It doesn't go through. And sure enough, over here, we got a new event and it says the comment JWT failed. How cool is that, guys? We have security alerting in our app, and there's not a lot of other functionality working, but that's working. And that's awesome. We are secure vibe coders, right? So this is a big value proposition that's going to help us displace the competitors in this space. And so we've got a functioning security dashboard. And now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just put that JWT token, make it work again. I just put the R back in there in the secret key, which again, if you're tuning in, this is just a test key. Calm down. All right, so what we do is we come over here and we refresh this. Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it, 3Ds? Wasn't expecting that, was you? That's what I was trying to get working last night before we ended, but it was just, we were caught in some errors. So now what I did was I just turned back on the JWT, so you see that's working, right? But let's check something else now. Let's try to vote and unvote multiple times. There's a rate limit that we've set in here. I think we put you can do no more than 10 of these in 10 seconds or something. So let's just try it. Okay, that's it. Okay, it stopped clicking. All right, so after 5 attempts, it stopped. And sure enough, all the other ones after that, I get a rate limit exceeded for the unvote. How cool is that? So we've got JWT validation, we've got rate limiting working, and we supposedly have about 6 other things that we're validating for. And in fact, I can just ask Claude Code to tell me to, let's see here, hold on one second. Yes, okay, I'll let it finish this edit that it was making. Earlier today, I asked it to also give us the, instead of just showing critical, show me the other categories of alerts. And so it was doing that. Okay. Okay, so what's doing is it's pushing those changes to convex. That's what this command is right here. Okay, it's running our TSC check, TypeScript check, compiler check. Okay. All right, so here you can see the breakdown. We have, let's see, there's critical, there's high, medium, and low, and let's see. Yeah, up here I asked it for to break down what those are. Here they are right here. Here's the event types that we have in our schema. So we do rate limiting, that's going to be medium. We have invalid API keys, that's high, okay? Fingerprint change, okay? And it didn't tell me what that was, but if the browser fingerprint changes, then it's going to fire off there. This one's the one right here that's important, suspicious activity. So we have implemented behavioral anomaly detection, which basically means these other things, they all get scores. And if those scores go up over a certain threshold, then we fire off a suspicious activity alert, and that's a critical alert. So that means you've probably got an attacker messing with your system. And as a developer, you probably want to start taking some evasive action. Maybe you want to blacklist that user. you want to start like adjusting your firewall, like if you're using Vercel, you can actually like blacklist that user. You can make them slow them down with captchas and things like that, all within like the firewall settings at Vercel. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so look, and basically I asked it for security monitoring, and it knew what security monitoring was based on the security skills that are in our secure vibe coding OS. All right, so it all comes back to that, guys. And I didn't have to tell it all of those things to do. It just knew to add all these things. Look, input validation failed, replay detected. Like, so if somebody takes that token and tries to replay it after it's expired, then we'll get one of those errors. Just really cool. Really cool stuff. All right. So now let's hunt down this error. Seems to be our plight each night. All right. So let's go back into the feature request and look at the board. It might be fixed now. Nope. Okay. Let's figure this out. I just copy pasted that in. When I try to open up a board within the feature request page, I now get this convex error. Fix it. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised myself when I looked at that security monitoring. I wasn't expecting it to be that snazzy. And matter of fact, let's go back and look at the updates now that we have different categories in there. Yeah, baby. Look at that. Thumbs up. How's that, guys? That's pretty cool. Pretty awesome. Yeah, I love that. And by the way, I also have it giving, I asked it to give details, and it looks like it's lost some of those details. Like way back here, I told it to give the payload. It looks like it stopped giving the payload. This was like last night. So I'll ask it about that too. Okay, it says it fixed that. Hey, on the security dashboard, somehow we lost the payload information. We were capturing that last night, but it looks like somehow in one of the edits we stopped getting the additional details, including the payload. Look into that. Okay, so what we can do is go back here and look at our feature request board. Okay, bingo. Now we have this bug too as well. Like we can drag across, or at least we could yesterday. That's weird. The drag and drop functionality only seems to go when there's no other items in the board. That's the bug. Okay. It's still adding those payload requests back in. Hope you got better bandwidth tonight, 3Ds. So this is, I think, our 16th day, if I'm not mistaken. So a little over 2 weeks. And we have amazing progress so far. We have a functioning app that, I mean, quite frankly, we could start showing to developers and getting them to use, but like, I'm not done with it yet. I want to polish it some more because I'm only doing that because I know there's competitors in the space. If there were not competitors in this space, like, by the way, those serious competitors validate the market fit. So that allows us to go a little lighter on our research. But now, because we picked a niche that has, 3 or 4 entrenched competitors or more, we need to like up our game, and we need to stack some features. Otherwise, like if you think about it, if you're a customer from one of these other guys, why would you come to us? Well, one of the reasons is we're more secure. Another reason is that we're going to ultimately do more of the functions around the wheel, and developers need all of that. And those other products don't provide that. And so that's our competitive niche. All right. Hey, cool. All right. I see that 3Ds. Okay. So this thing, it looks like it's done now. Let's see if we can go back and see. Yeah. Okay. Check this out. Now we have like details, so we can actually see like what was going on in here. And under certain scenarios, we'll see more information than others. Very cool. Starting to look like a little bit of a SIM, if I dare say. That's a security information event management tool. I didn't plan on going that direction, but like, hey, why not? This log information is free for us. Why don't we just capture it up, right, and show it to our users? They'll definitely appreciate it. I really like how we're color coordinating this and like ranking them. Just awesome. Now, other functionality that is working here is like if you check on these, then they get grayed out. And what we can do is we can put some filtering on this eventually, but I don't want to love on this too much right now. But you see how it's kind of getting grayed out? I could make that a little bit more pronounced, but pretty awesome. And then what we could do is, like I said, have a filter at the top that says only unread logs. So that, because this is going to go on for days, right? And maybe we'll have like date filters and stuff like that. All that normal stuff. That's easy stuff. Like literally that's a 5-minute thing. But I don't want to get distracted with that right now. Let's go track down this bug. Okay. Okay, on a feature request board, that's working now. But whenever I drag a request from one board to another, or one panel to another, they will only go when there is no other request in that panel. So if I try to take a feature request and move it back to a panel that has other feature requests, it won't move. Fix that. See? All you have to do is be able to identify the issue with your eyes, your brain, and your mouth. No more researching that. And I'm telling you, like that little bug right there would probably take a real developer, like, somebody who's not using AI. It'd probably take them, I don't know, hours, if not days, to go even figure out like why that interface is broke like that. And you'd have to be a pretty senior dev to like make that a quick job, like, maybe an hour-long job. And we're going to get it done here just like in a few minutes. Okay, so Claude Code asked me, do I want to proceed with that change? I said I put it arrow down to yes, and do all edits of that sort in this session. Now, my prediction is that less and less of this code will even need to be looked at. Like occasionally you'll see me like scan something because I'm just, I'm a seasoned developer. So like I can't help myself, number one. I never see it, I hardly ever see anything that I'm troubled with. Usually if it's something I'm troubled with and I stop it, it's because it said something in the text. Like it said it was going to turn something off and I say stop. Like it's never because I was looking at the code and saw something off. The code is usually spot on. Now, one of the things that'll drive you mad if you are a developer is like there are 10 ways to program any function. So sometimes what'll happen is like AI will like overwrite it unnecessarily, but it's still effective. It's just it came in with a different viewpoint and now it's going to rewrite the function and it looks a little different. But some people get trapped in this loop where they think, okay, I got to read every line of change in here. If you think that, you are going to go crazy. You ain't going to make it. You might as well just stick with regular development. You're going to have to let go of the wheel. And, well, you're still in the driver's seat and you keep your hand like loosely on the wheel, sort of like my Tesla, right? You don't want to sleep. But on the other hand, like, let the thing drive, man. Let the thing drive. Okay, it says it fixed it. It said it removed a faulty ID check. Okay, I don't know what that had to do with it. Hey, it worked. I'll put that down here where I can see that it actually went in somewhere. Okay, it went in right between these two. Let's see if the up and down drag works. Yeah, man. All right, we got a fully functioning Kanban board here. Okay, let's see what else is broke. Okay, we've got comments that have come in here. We don't have moderation on right now, so there's nothing pending or rejected. Here's just a little demo board that's kind of only in tier 1 mode only, not naturally, because we don't want to generate a JWT token right here in the preview. Okay, look at that. Okay, here's the roadmap view, and this is just a read only. See, notice there's no drag things here. So what you would do with this roadmap, if you're a developer, is you deploy this out because users want to be able to submit feature requests and bug reports. And that's probably what we'll do next. And then they want to know, okay, are you implementing that stuff? Like, what's your, so you on the back end, what you can do is you can drag these over, and then that updates the board. And then when they go look at it, they can see their features actually moving through the pipeline and getting implemented. Okay. And then when it's over here in the done, you can ultimately put it in a change log. Okay, in a change log. Yeah, hey 3Ds, I'm telling you, Claude Code, especially Opus, it's sharp and it's snappier. I think it's like 20% snappier. I'm just guessing, but like it feels snappier. Like I've sat around more, it seemed, in the past. It's amazing to me they took their flagship model, they made it a third of the cost it was 2 days ago. Okay, they dropped the price to a third of what it was. It went from $75 an output token to $25. And again, I'm on the 200 max plan, so like that's like and they said they removed the tracking of Opus. There's no more Opus weekly limits. So that's what drove me nuts and almost made me leave Claude Code a couple weeks ago when I was so fed up with it. But they've dropped that now. And then they said that they've priced it so that you should be able to use Opus as much as you were previously using Sonnet within like the max plans and stuff. I'm like, amen and amen. So you know what that's going to do though? That's going to start a price war. You don't think OpenAI is got to drop their prices now? Let's go look at that real quick. Okay, so let's look here. Let's just come on down here and look at I think what we can do is we can like rank these like for programming, for example. Okay, and so here's the top 8 models for programming. Okay, I don't see Opus on here, so maybe it's not all of them. We'll go to rankings. Okay, here we go. Wow, this is cool just to look at. Check this out. So let's see, which one is that in the gray here? Oh, it's okay. The 24th. I guess maybe they're still processing it. But what you can see here is Grok Code Fast 1 was leading yesterday by far, and then Sonnet 4.5. Now, where the heck is Opus? I guess it hasn't even started registering in here yet. They just released it yesterday, right? All right, but here's what I was trying to get at. Let's look at Gemini. Well, Gemini Pro preview. There's no price on it right now. Okay, well, look, it's going to be $12. Oh, that was the preview. I don't think that was... I'm not sure if that's their top-end model. It may be. One of you guys probably know. Okay, it's on the order of $12. Okay, let's see what the others are in terms of pricing. I would love to see like a ranking on price. Top this week, trending. I guess there's no easy way to do that other than okay. So what's OpenAI's their top model right now is GPT-5, I guess. No, 5.1. Okay. So see, look, I stand corrected. Anthropic had to drop their prices. Look at these other guys; they're killing them still. Okay, but they're going to put that's going to put downward pressure on those guys too. So I hope so because that's in our benefit. What happens is then, we're starting a little bit of a AI arms race to the bottom, right? Ultimately, I think token costs are going to zero essentially, or approximating zero. And then they're going to have to figure out another way to make money, like on all this other stuff. Like maybe there'll be I don't know. Maybe the tools will start charging instead of the tokens because these guys are eventually just going to race themselves to zero, which is cool. Fine with me. Can't happen soon enough as far as I'm concerned. All right, cool. Let's get back at it. What else are we doing? Let's go back and look at our to-do list. Let's call this one done for now. Test and debugging. Okay, change the widget layout to have 3 tabs. Okay, that's done too. Oh, no. Okay, this was a new. What I want to do is I want to work on, I put this in the other day. I want to work on the widget layout. Okay, so check this out, guys. This right now, it's kind of crude, to my liking. Like, see how everything is like just a long list? What I want to do is I put it back here. I want to change the widget layout to have 3 tabs. Yeah, I'm just going to copy paste this. Okay, and I'm going to start to talk about bug reports because essentially the way we built this, feature requests are just like bug reports. It's just we'll have them on a separate board. Okay, so watch this. Change the widget layout to have 3 tabs. Okay. I want you to use a tab format as sort of like folders in a filing cabinet, those type of tabs at the top. Okay, to where the user can click, the first tab and select the roadmap. The next tab is the feature request and so forth. And I want the feature request to be enabled by default. That's the second tab. Just want to see what this looks like. Now, I was thinking about this the other or today actually. That vibe coding is like sculpting. Now I'm no Da Vinci or I'm no Michelangelo, right? But like, I see a block of clay when I'm looking at that app, and I'm just carving pieces off that are in the way because I know inside of that clay is like the beautiful image. And that's the way I think of vibe coding. They should have called it sculpt coding or something like that, but that doesn't ring as well. It is funny to me that people still hate the term vibe coding and they want to get rid of it. And that's okay, man. Controversy sells. Bring it. It ain't going nowhere. I heard Google was even going to release a tool called vibe coding, like a tool name. But it doesn't look like they did. I think they ended up calling it anti-gravity or something. Actually, Google's got like 6 different development tools. They even have most of it's like up under the Studio suite. So maybe they did run with that vibe coding tool. But you can't get rid of that term. It's too short and too sweet, and it's just too meaningful. And it's not like scientific or engineering type, and that's the point. That's the point. Yeah. And same thing when you guys are like vibe coding. Think of that app as a block of clay, right, or marble, and you're chiseling away the stuff that doesn't belong. So that's the way I think about it. That's why I'm really against like trying to describe it all in advance because you're just not that smart. I'm not that smart. You end up with a pretty ugly sculpture. Can you imagine like if you made, Michelangelo, like draw everything that before he sculpted it, like down to the nth degree, like before you even let him pick up a chisel, It just doesn't work that way. Okay. Look at this. We got filing cabinet tabs. Okay. Feature request is the default. It's responsive on mobile. Only the icons show. Oh, that's cool. All right. Let's see it. Yeah, man. It's not as pronounced. I think like maybe we put more of a shadow around the actual selected tab. But yeah, this is what I was going for. So over here we have the roadmap. Like that's like, you know, they can go back and see like the whole roadmap. Here's where they'll have their feature request. And then bug reports will go here and the change log will go here. Now I think what I'll do is I'll move the roadmap to right before the change log. Move the roadmap to right before the change log tab and make this selected tab a little bit more pronounced. You just have like a border around the top. I want like that shadow to extend around the whole tab top so that we clearly see which one is selected. Just chiseling marble out of the way. All right. I like how it says coming soon. So it's just like, and what we can do is we can payment gate these. Like if some of these are like only available in higher tiers, what we can do is when they go to the tab, we can have like a little lock saying, you know, this is only available to the higher tier. That's called payment gating. And it's an effective strategy to upsell your product. So the idea is you put your main features out, right? And then, but you want to also tease the other features. Like you don't want to you don't want to hide those other features from those lower paying users. You want them to grow. You want them to, you know, to take advantage of those other features. And how would they even know about them if they can't see them? Right. All right. So look, it put more of a shadow. I like that. I'll buy that. You guys like that? Okay. Now we haven't done the bug reports yet, and that's fine. I just want to have a placeholder for it. Now what I want to do is in the settings enable these different tabs. So in other words, allow them to, you know, turn that on or off. It may have already done that for us, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be a little shocked, I guess, to be honest. Okay, it didn't do that. All right. Okay, that looks good. Now on the settings tab, I want you to make it so that the developer can enable or disable those tabs or change the order of them. Yep, we're just getting started 3Ds. Wait until you see this whole thing. When it, like in my mind's eye, I can already see it. And, you know, it's about bringing it out now. That's the fun part, right? That's the fun part. What the fun would it be to like prescribe it? Honestly, I think the way we're wired, you have to kind of see something and iterate on it, right? You have to kind of see it and get that vibe like, nah, I'm not feeling that. Or yeah, that's awesome. Let's keep going down that vein, right? Let's keep chiseling down that way. That's like, I hope development always involves that. If it doesn't, like, it'll be pretty boring. Now, what I see is happening with anti-gravity and these others, you notice what they're doing is they're starting to hide the code. Like you gotta like hit, you know, Command E to even get to the code. So let me go back and show you what I mean, like while that's cooking. Let's see here. Here's their other interface, and they call the IDE a shadow IDE. If you watch their videos, I find it kind of funny. You could see them kind of shifting people's attention to like, hey, don't worry about the actual, IDE or the code, just chat, right? So what they do is you start these conversations, and you can have all these agents, and you don't never need to see the code really if you just stay over here, and you have these chats, and they're like long living chats. Like so, for example, you just get this chat window here, and you just start going at it, right? And you have these workspaces. These workspaces are the folders of the code that you're actually working on. You can have multiple threads in a folder, so you can have it like working on like the front end, the back end, like the API, like changing this widget, and they won't step on each other, and that's pretty cool. And you never would technically need to see code, and that's where I think they're heading. And by the way, I think, I could see myself getting there to a certain point, as long as I can get to the code if I need to, in which case you just hit Command E and bam, it automatically brings the IDE forward. And they call it a shadow IDE because it's always kind of in the background. Now I'm noticing Opus is handling convex better. Thank God. So yeah, I'm pleased with what I'm seeing with Opus and convex. Reminds me of Bolt and Hostinger Horizons. I haven't used Hostinger. I've used Bolt.new. I used to like that. I've used Lovable. The one I like nowadays in terms of just a fast ideation tool is Builder.io. It builds some really cool apps and with not very many errors. And if you just want to like throw something up and see what it looks like and maybe talk to somebody about it, yeah, that's my tool, is Builder.io. But then when I get serious about it, what I'll do is connect it to GitHub and download it into Cloud Code, or you can just zip it and pull the zip down. What I'm going to try to figure out, because there's an integration between Builder.io and the IDE, you can get like a Visual Studio integration. And what I'd like to do, in theory, I should be able to start with my secure baseline, and I should be able to then turn on the Builder.io plugin and then tell it to go make a really cool front end for me on top of my secure Vibe Code OS, right? Because we always got this chicken and egg problem. Like if you build something out there on Bolt or wherever, you got to retrofit all this security stuff, but it's actually smarter to start with the clean baseline with the secure Vibe Code OS. And then what you can do is tell Claude that, hey, I've got this secure Vibe Code OS right here, and I don't want to do anything insecure to open up a security vulnerability. But what I want you to do is go look in this other folder and replicate that website and port it over to here securely using all of the security settings that we have established here. And when you give it a prompt like that, it will go one by one, pull those pages over and implement like the rate limiting and the input validation, all that stuff behind the scenes, because we've got those security skills set up. Now, I'd like to make that a little bit more automated at some point, to where it can kind of port that stuff in a little easier. But hopefully that makes sense to you and gives you a clue of how to do that. Dropping knowledge bombs out here today, guys. Just, and by the way, if you have questions or anything, just ask. Because I just get rolling and really may miss something that you care about. So just drop your questions in. I'd love to have some back and forth. Once again, if you've been watching this like a recording, check out my free mentoring and that QR code. Also check my link down in the bio. I'm running a Black Friday special for my secure Vibe Coding OS. Go ahead and sign up for that. I'm giving a bonus of more, I'm doubling the amount of hours that I give up front, like in terms of one-on-one call with me. And I had one of those today, another one yesterday. And that allows me to meet with my mentees one-on-one and actually help them get going properly. But I'm doubling that. So if you sign up for my enthusiast program, then I'll give you 2 1/2-hour slots. If you sign up for the founders program, I'll give you 2 1-hour slots with me. We'll take one now immediately, and then take another one in a month or so once you've actually done some things. That's the way I advise. Okay, says it did it. I have to remind myself, what do we tell it to do? Okay, it should have the ability now to update those over in settings. Okay, check this out. Check this out, guys. Okay, so look, let's just move the change log up here. and let's go see what happened. Okay, it didn't do it, but let me refresh. Okay, it still didn't do it. Am I on the right board? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me tell Claude that, hey, duh. User error. You have to hit save changes. Okay, now what happened? Bam, instantly. Look at that. I'm telling you guys, that's convex. Okay, I've been using Mongo and Postgres for years. You ain't getting that with those tools. I'm here to tell you. Now, again, you could cobble together something called Redis, which is an attempt to do this, but a poor attempt. Like, it's very complicated. It's buggy. Like, why bother? Wow. Did you see? I'm almost a little stunned. Did you see how quickly I updated that? And bam! Like, before I could even change and like even look at the tab. Let's do it again. I have to see it again. I'm gonna put it back. Now watch this. I'm gonna hit save. I'm gonna immediately go up. Matter of fact, let's do something better. This will be cool. This will be cool, guys. This will be cool. Hope you're ready for this. Check this out, guys. This was one I was messing around with today. How do I get back? Hold on. Okay. This is going to be so cool. Okay. All right, guys, check this out. Okay, here's our test site on the right. You ready for this? Okay. I just moved the change log back down here. Notice it was first. Let me watch this over here as soon as I hit save changes. No sooner I let go of the button, it changed. And we could be on two different sides of the world here. Think about that. Think what you could do with that. We're talking chat interface. We're talking anything that you need to have a real-time update. Chat is the number one. Like if you're building a chat app, like it has to be instantaneous on both sides, right? Like if you're building like a WhatsApp replacement, like think about that. But like there's other application like I just showed you here. Like you as a developer want to like change your configuration. As soon as you hit save, everybody's site changes out there immediately through the widget, through the magic of React and TypeScript and Convex. That is amazing. Yeah, look, I've seen what you're saying, 3Ds. You'd never be able to do that with Postgres. You could with Redis on top of Postgres, but man, who in the world wants to mess with that stuff? And I've done some of that before. It's a pain in the butt. I built some blockchain apps, and you have to build like these Redis caches, and like if you want a real-time update like this off the blockchain. But man, nowadays I have to maybe revisit that and see if I can do some blockchain apps with Convex. Now, to be clear, that's the Web 3.0 part of the blockchain, like the 2.0. The 3.0 is still behind an RPC, and that'll never be real time like this. But who knows? Yeah. Hey, official Snuffles. Hey, hello. How are you? Thanks for dropping in, saying hello. Hey, we're building this app called User Vibes OS. It allows the user to, we've been building it for like, I don't know, 20, 25 hours now, split over 16 sessions. And we already have a functioning app that technically we could sell, but we're going to polish it some more because like we're trying to displace some, competitors in this space. But I'm gonna give you a quick demo again of this because I got to. Like, so this is our configuration in our backend. And inside of our backend, we have this settings tab right here. And notice how it's mobile responsive. So when I look at that, when I bring it in and put it on a mobile, notice how the menu switches up here automatically because it knows that the screen changed. That's cool. That's called reactivity or responsiveness, excuse me. So it's mobile responsive out of the gate. It's light dark. enabled out of the gate, like right. And this is all part of what I call the Secure Vibe Coding OS. You can check it out on GitHub. Go watch the previous videos. The second video, we installed it. It's like a 15-minute install. Took me 12 minutes. Really cool. So in the back end, we have this settings page, and we just now, like literally 20 minutes ago, we vibe coded this ability. We told it we want to be able to change the widget, or change this, the widget over here. We wanted to be able to change the tab orders. And we just created the tabs 5 minutes before that. But notice how right now they say they match their feature requests, bug reports. I can like turn one of them off. Like I can turn off the feature request here. And as soon as I hit save, watch what happens over here immediately. 1, 2, 3. Bam, gone. Just like that. I could turn it back on. Bam. And I can drag and drop these. Okay. I can like bring the changelog up to the front, hit save. Bam. Now, the reason why that magic happens, for the developers in the room here, your jaw just dropped. We are using Convex. It's a real-time database, keyword real-time. Okay, so it's in sync, and all the clients are in sync to it. So when you make a change in it, it's like bam, instant. Okay, there's no, like, it's milliseconds. And we were just talking, 3Ds and I, he's a old school Postgres user. I've used Postgres and Mongo. It was my favorite daily driver up until I learned Convex. You can't do that with those old school databases. You'd have to bolt something on it like a Redis queue or something. And there's other ways you could try to approximate it, but like it's going to be buggy and there's going to be a delay. And I've never seen anything like that. That's real time, man. That's real time. So we don't have to like register, like you'd have to like register events, and you'd have to listen for those events, and then you'd have to notice the event and trigger the action. It's just all like automatic now, which is amazing. Okay. All right. So we're at 51 minutes. Let's see what else we can do here in the remainder of the hour. I'm going to come back over to here, just full screen for a moment, and see if there's anything else I want to do. Okay. I want to be able to set the default. And I'm not even going to tell it how to do it. Okay. Allow the user to set the default themselves on that setting panel for these tabs, and make sure that if it is the default, then well, if no default is selected or there are no other tabs, then keep the features request tab as the default. Okay, I'm just going to let it do its thing. Now, before I do that, I'm going to get back into the habit of making a good commit up here. Okay, so we troubleshot and fix some security monitoring dashboard bugs, but then also now we have the widget has tabs at the top, and those are set in the settings panel on the back end and configurable. Okay, just want to push that up, because if I don't like what this change is like in 5 minutes, then I'm just going to revert it. So get in the habit of doing that. Now, by the way, Claude Code has snapshots built in, and they're on by default. I've never used them because I always use Git for this, but you can, in theory, like go tell it to like revert back 5 minutes or whatever like those snapshots are. And in a sense, that's like Cursor. I know Cursor does that. It's where it shines. And that's what I really missed about Cursor. But now Claude Code does it. And it not only will revert the code, but also the state of the chat, which is cool. Okay, so now it says it's like updating all of the queries and stuff, which is in the database. Okay, notice it's updating the stuff in Convex directly. Also notice there's no more routes. Like if you're a Next.js guy, you know about all these API routes that you're always managing. Like Convex handles all of that for you. Amazing. Amazing. Underneath the hood, it does have like API call, like an endpoint on the Convex database, but like you don't have to worry about any of that. It's all just handled. And we're noticing Opus isn't like giving us all these Convex errors like we've been having in recent days. So I'm digging that because I was starting to get tired of fighting with convex, but now it's been worth it. Now remember, I gave it a vague prompt. I said I want to be able to set the default tab, and I give it a little bit more guidance. Like if none is set, then go ahead and use the feature request. But like I want to see what it does. It might get creative and give us something really snazzy. And if I don't like it, I'll just change it. Come on, Opus. I was bragging on you being fast. It's thinking about it. There are two modes in Claude Code. They're standard and thinking. You hit the tab key to go into thinking. I don't want to do that because it'll burn more tokens. But if you do that, it turns these lines purple. And that's the only way that you could tell that. I wish they would give an indicator. Like they do give an indicator here for like, look, I'll hit tab. You'll notice down here it'll say thinking, but then it goes away. Watch. Okay, now look, I'm not touching anything. It's going to fade away. Okay, now the only way you know that that's in thinking mode is that these lines are purple now instead of like gray. And it's really hard to tell the difference between purple and gray anyway. So I can tell because I'm looking at it. I don't know if you guys can tell or not. Let me hit tab again because I don't want to burn through those tokens. This Opus is good enough without the thinking mode. But now if you invoke, like what that does is that just turns on the medium grade thinking at all times. But if you say ultra thinking, it goes even a step above that. Okay, just be aware of that. And I'm wondering if this thing's stuck. Press escape or control C to show the to-dos. Control T. Okay. Update the mutation. I'm going to go ahead and just bump it. Here's how you bump it along. Give it a dot and inject it into the message queue. And then it should like get going again. You can also just say continue. It's the same thing as a dot. But I think like all of a sudden, after I was bragging about it, it like broke the agent loop. So what I'm gonna do is hit escape a couple times. Okay, now what I can do is give it the command again. Dot continue or just continue. And it should, okay, there it's moving again. It does do that. It just falls asleep sometimes. Just like us, right? Come on, man. You got a few minutes left. Finish strong. Official Snuffles, you still with us? Where are you from? I like this Control T that you can actually see the to-do list anytime you want now, because they used to hide that from you. I'm telling you, I'm back in love with Claude Code. Just when I started dating Gemini, it's like, bam, they dropped it. And you know the thing about Anthropic, they dropped it like in the evening or something, like nonchalantly. Like there's never like any hype. You have to like watch their news page on their blog like a hawk. And I just earlier in the day went and looked at it because I was just seeing if there was anything new. There was nothing. And a friend of mine sent me like a text at like, I think it was 4 p.m. or something. That said, check this out. Opus just got an upgrade. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Yep. And there it was, man. I like how they roll. Whereas like OpenAI just hypes it all up with like a big like on stage event and all this stuff. And then it fizzles out like it was a nothing. Like they overhyped it. Whereas Claude just puts the stuff out, man. I like that. Anthropic. Okay, there we go. Add the default tab selector to the settings UI. Okay, just did. Update the feature request widget to use that. Okay, let's see what it does. Yeah, I agree with you, 3Ds. Yeah, they get on my nerves with that polish. Now, Claude Anthropic did step in it a while back, but they admitted it. Like they nerfed some stuff, and they actually admitted it, like that they'd made some mistakes, and they had to like limit some stuff, and so they took a lot of criticism because but they're still the flagship leader. I don't care what anybody says. These other people out there are hyping their stuff up. They're either paid to do that, or, in my view, they haven't played with Claude Code enough to really see the power of it. They've just danced some people come in and out of a model for really quick and then they move on. And usually what I've done is, like, I've been on Claude Code. Admittedly, I'm probably a little biased, but when a new model comes out like Gemini, I'll give it a shot. Like, and I'll go play with it for a few days to a week. But if it's not up to snuff, like, then I'm going back, right? And I've never found anything that enticed me to get off of it. Plus the cost, like we were saying, that's really hard. Okay, here we go. Look at this, right on time. Look at this, guys. It gave us a little star here. Now, how do you, set as default. But how do we now turn it off? Brilliant. Brilliant. Look, I was worried about this a little bit when I typed the prompt, because I said, what if it's default and they turn it off? Like, that wouldn't make any sense, right? It was smart enough to know to keep the user from going into that situation, because what it did was, there's a set as default here, but it's not. You can't turn off the default if it's already enabled. Like, watch. So what it did was, when you turn this off right here, it switched automatically to the previous one. But it's smart in that way. I'm probably not explaining that well, but like, I really like that. Okay, so look, now we have them all on, and we can set, like, for example, this one as the default. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit save changes. Let's get our second view up here. Okay, well, I got to refresh to get the default. Bam. We have a super tool shaping up here, guys, and I'm so excited about it. Let me go ahead and put that back to the default. Also want to put my change log last. Save that. Okay, and now if I refresh, I didn't have to refresh to get the change log over, but now what happens is the feature request is up here, and anyway, it's working. It's working like a champ, guys. I love it, love it, love it. And I can the user can totally configure it. They can disable it. They can set the one to default that they want. Loving it, loving it, loving it. The competitors don't allow that. Okay, I've already looked at them. They don't do that. And look how easy that was. It took us really 15 minutes, and then we've been playing around with it ever since. Anyway, hey, we had a great session tonight. Really had a lot of progress, and Opus is just rocking it. And this is what I'm used to out of Opus, right? Like, that other stuff we were dealing with all that JWT stuff, I think I was overcomplicating it with the proxy that proxy thing was very complicated. And then also we were using Sonnet at the time, and Sonnet was nerfing it. But now Opus is back. I'm having a super good time. I hope you guys are as well. I will see you tomorrow night, but we will do it at 8:30. Sorry about that, 3Ds. I have another event at 8 tomorrow, New York time. So we'll do this at 8:30 tomorrow night. And then the following night we might take off. I'll have to decide, because that's Thanksgiving here in the States. A big holiday, a lot of family around and stuff, but we don't have family coming in this time, so I might go ahead and continue to do it, but we'll see. I want to keep the cadence up, and I want to keep bringing value. And make sure that you hit like and subscribe on these channels if you haven't yet. I'm out on YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Twitch. Go find me if you hang out on any of those, and make sure that you subscribe to me there and give me some thumbs up so that the algorithm shows me some love. Hey, until next time, you guys be safe out there, and 3Ds, be safe on your trip, and I will see you guys next time.